Greetings from SUNY Morrisville campus-wide advising. Today we'll be discussing understanding your schedule. As the scheduling and registration season approaches, there's some vital information that we'd like to share with you that I think help clarify some of the various ways you can go about building a schedule. So really what it boils down to is we're going to try to crack the code. When you look at your schedule and the details that come with it, there's a lot of numbers and letters. So the goal for today is figure out, what am I looking at? Course sections are identified by letters and numbers defined to help you discover and understand the delivery of a particular course. The simple way of saying that is, what kind of course is this? Is it online? Is it in person? Is it a little bit of both? Is it meet twice a week, once a week? All those things are vital to your success. If you don't understand those in the first few weeks of class, it's a really poor way to start. So if we can get all these things in order now, looking forward to January, it's super helpful. In this quick presentation, we will cover delivery methods. How is the class being taught, right? Course identifiers. What are the important letters and numbers mean? And then, of course, your student detailed schedule, which you can access through Web for Students. So the first and most obvious course to discuss is a face-to-face course. This is what most of us know as a traditional way of learning. This situation of teaching and learning in a traditional classroom environment where the instructors and students are in the same place. We all know this. We've been doing it since kindergarten. The lecture sections for a traditional in-person lecture begin with the code 01 or 02. Example, Comp 101, 01. When you look at Schedulizer and you're building your schedule, this is what an in-person section would look like. So you see Comp 101, section 01. It has a meeting time and a date. Okay. A couple things to point out very quickly. Campus is Morrisville. The CRN is the class registration number. That, of course, is the number that you put in to register in your Web for Students. Section 01, credit hours 3, how many spots are in the class, the days of the week it meets, Tuesday, Thursday, the time, and the professor. So that's a face-to-face. That's pretty straightforward. The next type of course is a hybrid rotation. So it's a face-to-face and online. It's a hybrid. So by definition, it's any course that meets both online and in a traditional classroom setting. Hybrid courses meet in a portion of time in an online setting, and it's outlined in the course syllabus. So you have to make sure you watch for communication from the professor up to the day before classes start to know what the expectation is. For example, we're going to meet face-to-face on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we're going to meet via Teams or Zoom. We're going to meet face-to-face on Tuesday, and then Thursday a discussion board assignment is due. So lecture sections for hybrid delivery. This is hybrid. The code begins with HY. Okay, pretty simple hybrid. The example given here, Comp 101, HY1. So you can see this is Comp 100. The section is HY1. There is a meeting time. So Monday, Wednesday, 11 to 12:15. It is on you, the student, and the professor to communicate with one another to make sure you understand when am I meeting in person and what is going to be not in person or online. If you register for one of these sort of courses, you're going to be expected to be here on campus for some portion of the week. The next course is a little more rare, but is in an offering that we do have here at Morrisville. It's called the High Flex course. Okay. So a High Flex course combines online and face-to-face instruction simultaneously into a single course section. It could be video streaming, it could be face-to-face, recordings, online discussion. This class gets delivered in different methods at once. So it may be possible to be face-to-face or join the class via Zoom or a Teams call or watch a recording. And again, We'll get into how you figure out the difference, but this is what it will look like when you're looking at Schedulizer. So the high flex delivery, it begins with an HF. All right, so example BSAD 116 HF1. This example here I found on Schedulizer currently. This is an Ag Business course 305. So you see it's HF1. It has a meeting time, and then the to be determined is going to be determined by Professor Pollock as to what the different method delivers would be. That TBD is to be determined, and that can get students up because they think there's some details that's going to be released. It's really on the professor to get that information to you. So you have to pay attention to your email before the first day of classes. So now the next sequence here is online courses, and of course in 2020 we have more than ever, but moving forward regardless, online courses are going to be something that you're going to have to navigate, and for some of you it may be preferred. So an asynchronous online course is really just a fancy way of saying the content of the course and the teaching and the students, all that interact at different times and places. Okay, so this doesn't have a meeting time. This could be a recording, it can be posted PowerPoints. It's going to be mainly driven through Blackboard, and you as an individual student need to be able to communicate with the teacher, read the syllabus, and figure out what the expectations are. But this does not have a set meeting time. So these online lectures, they begin with an LN. Okay, so this is where you have to really pay attention to some of these subtle differences. This will begin with an LN. Example, Math LN1, but no, there's not a meeting time. TBD, to be determined. There's nothing to be determined in this case. It is an asynchronous meeting time. Okay, and you can tell that because if you look at this example that's pulled from Schedulizer, Math 103 LN1, so you know it's online, does not have a meeting time. So Professor Villaro in this case is going to post work. There'll be deadlines. There'll be instructions on how this class is being delivered. You have to follow them. A synchronous online class, okay, is a class that is meeting in an online space, so it's not face-to-face, but it has a meeting time and date. So again, it occurs when the instructor and student interact in different places, but during the same time. So if you sign up for one of these classes, okay, you can't then take a work shift. Yes, you may be home or you may be wherever, but the professor is going to expect you to be there at that time, logged into either Teams or Zoom, and attend, quote unquote, the class. These sections, again, they begin with LN, but there is a set meeting time. So in this example, Accounting 100, LN1, Monday, Wednesday, 9:30 to 10:45. So you could stay home and take this class, but you have to plan to be available and engaged during that time. The next section is labs. For some of you, you have a lot of labs, others maybe not, but it's a little more complicated to navigate, but we'll get there. So lab sections, they begin with a number and end with a letter. So that is unique. So the example given here is O1L for lab. Bio 120 O1L is the one I pulled from Schedulizer. Okay. So now you can see that this has a meeting time. Okay. Wednesday, 12 to 1:50. I do want to note that determining if it's online or face-to-face can be a bit more complicated, which leads us to the next part of this presentation, and it involves the student detail schedule and the course listings page. So if you are someone that's going to register for labs, yes, you can use Schedulizer and see, okay, I know this lab is Wednesday, 12 to 1:50, but is it being taught online or is it something I have to be on campus face-to-face? And this next section will show you how to do that. So the course listing database and student schedule details are two different web links. One is found right on the Morrisville website. I'm going to pull that up here. Okay. To navigate this, and if you type course listings in the Morrisville search bar, you can get right to this page. Make sure you pick the right semester. So in this case, we're going to do spring 2021, submit. And then, you know, in the last example I gave, we were looking at Bio 120 in that lab section. So I'm going to pick Bio from this drop down, and I'm just gonna do class search. I'm going to pull them all up. Okay. So we're going to get into this in a little further detail in the next few slides, but this is where you can see all of the class details. Okay. So I want to point out, so this is Bio 101-01L. You can see the campus, you can see the instructional method. That's key. We're going to get into that in a second. So this is not online instructional method. Okay. This is where you can find actually where it is, the dates and times. And how many seats are in it. And then if you do want to try to find a lab that may meet online, let's say you're staying home but you have some sciences and your lecture's online but your lab's in person, you can scroll down and we can find potentially a lab. So, you know, if you're in that section, there isn't one. Bio 101, I don't see one that meets online. So, you know, if you're going to take that, you need to be here on campus. But I'm going to scroll, see if I can find a lab that meets online. Okay, so Bio 105-01L is right here, online instructional method. That's what you'd be looking for. So you need to pair this website, this link, with Schedulizer, particularly when you're looking at labs. But even if you didn't do that, you registered for your classes straight from Schedulizer, you can then, once you register, go into Web for Students, scheduling, student detail schedule. And we have some instructional YouTube links on how to navigate Web for Students if you aren't there yet, which you can find on Campus-Wide Advising site. But there you'll find all the details you need to start the classes. And here are the examples. So lecture sections, face-to-face. You signed up for face-to-face. This is what you'll see under your details. So in this case, it's Bio 102 lecture. As you can see, I've highlighted not online, okay, face-to-face. You give where the class is. In this case, it's at the greenhouse, the date, the time, the professor, when you scheduled, you know, when you registered for it, the whole thing. Now, okay, you want to see the details for your online courses, your LNs. Synchronous delivery, meaning class, is that it's being taught at a time and date, will look like this, okay? Synchronous online, 100% of the instruction occurs in real time, meaning there's a time and date, okay? In this case, it's accounting 100 LN1. Asynchronous looks like this. 100% of the direct instruction occurs under a time delay. As we talked about earlier, this is content that you do on your own time based on the due dates that the professor sets. And you can see down here where meeting online. Now this time where it says TBA or TBD, you're going to see that on Schedulizer, but if you know it's an LN without a meeting time, it's asynchronous, and then you can confirm that when you go to Web for Students in Student Detail. So a high flex, what does that look like? Because those are a little more rare. So this course, the BSAD 102 is an HF1, and you see here combines online and face-to-face instructional simultaneously into one single course section. This does have a meeting time, right? So there's going to be the option to meet in that space. You're going to want to reach out to the professor if you don't hear from them at least, you know, the day to week before classes started, what the expectation is for this. And if you're building your schedule and this one isn't clear, which frankly it's kind of a new method of delivery, there's no reason you couldn't reach out to, in this case, Professor Paluski, and just ask, what's the expectation for this? I may be staying home this semester, or I may be coming to campus this semester. What can I expect? Hybrid delivery is a little more straightforward. There's going to be one in-person section. So you can see here, 12 to 12:50 in Crawford Hall. And then the rest of the class is to be determined by Professor Binns. And then labs face-to-face, we talked about briefly. Just to point out, this is a lab, it's an O2L, and it's face-to-face. You can see the time, the date. And then this one is exclusively online. I used the example from before. You can see what I highlighted here, online lab. So if you're looking for a lab section and you want it to be virtual, you're going to want to look on Schedulizer as well as the course listings link. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to campus-wide advising, advising@morrisville.edu. And good luck. Whether you're here on campus or studying remotely, the best way to be successful is just being proactive in this process, asking questions, and don't wait till the first day of classes to figure it out.